Hey guys, today I'm reviewing the Edelkrone SliderONE V2, the HeadONE, and the Flex Tilt Head 2. Stay tuned. So Edelkrone have this culture of modularity where you can combine 1, 2, 3 or however many bits of their equipment together and they should all work in unison. Today I bought the SliderONE V2, the HeadONE and the Flex Tilt Head 2 all to work together to film products. But are they any good? Let's find out. To simplify this terminology, I'm just going to refer to them as the Slider, the HeadONE and the Flex Head. I hope that's okay with you. Let's kick it off with a super fast unboxing. On the surface, the slider, the head and the flex head are all well built. They're made of metals and feel pretty good to the touch. There's no sharp or rough edges anywhere, and the rubber pads on top help to keep the friction strong when connecting them together. It's great to see Edelkrone have included different thread adapters to help mount each part to different gauge tripods and other accessories. The slider itself is driven by a rubber belt that pulls along the track accordingly, but there's no way to operate the slider manually. You must use the motorized function that's controlled through the Edelkrone app. More on that later. On closer inspection, the top of the rubber track already seems to show signs of wear on my one, but I'll come back to that a little later. So when you think about what these products do, the slider slides, the head spins, and the flex head pivots, or tilts, or extends. I guess you could say it does all of those things. The slider can travel a total of 20 centimeters and supports up to 9 kilograms when used horizontally, or 2.3 kilograms when used vertically at 90 degrees. It has mounting options for a 3/8 screw or a 1/4-20 screw. The slider has markings for left and right on the top to help you align it first time every time. The head is pretty straightforward. It spins 360 degrees and fits perfectly with the slider. The head weighs approximately 580 grams and can support 6.8 kilograms. It has mounting options for a 3/8 screw or a 1/4-20 screw, just like the slider. Finally, the flex head comes with 2 hex keys to increase or reduce the tension on the various stages. For me, right out of the box, the flex felt good, but as soon as I added a camera weighing just under 1.8 kilograms, the joints failed to hold the load. I've since adjusted it with the provided hex keys to hold the load, but it's a bit too stiff, so I'm trying to finesse it to get it exactly right, but I haven't found a happy medium yet. The inclusion of a bubble level on the top of the flex head is a valuable addition when leveling the unit on a tripod. Both the slider and the head are powered by LPE6 batteries, which, if you're a Canon user, the chances are you've used them in the past and have a pile of them lying around. They are reliable, good quality, ubiquitous batteries. So it's good to see Edelkrone opting for that option to power the slider and the HeadONE. However, the brackets for the LPE6s are plastic on both the HeadONE and the slider. So far, the batteries don't come free easily, though I'm concerned that eventually one of the battery brackets might fail from this design. The likelihood of this failure occurring sooner rather than later is increased a little bit by the fact that there's no on-off switch for either the slider or the HeadONE. The only way to stop the slider or HeadONE from using power is to yank the batteries out of their bracket every single time you don't want to use the head or the slider. It's a really poor design choice that I can't understand, as most motorized slider companies out there have this very basic option as standard. Why is this an issue, Rod, you might ask? Well, if you're like me and you need to set up a shoot quickly and then reposition, sometimes by changing locations entirely, you don't want to be fiddling around with batteries over and over and over, so we often leave them in when repositioning. Normally, I just power off the unit, throw it in my car, and away I go. That might not be a concern for you. The one upside is so far I haven't had any issues connecting the batteries and getting either the slider or the HeadONE to connect to the app. Another area where Edelkrone has deviated from other slider companies is that you must use the app to operate both the slider and the HeadONE. So after you connect your batteries, hear the connection chime and let the slider and HeadONE do their thing to confirm solid connections, you simply open the app and hit Smart Pairing or Manual Pairing. Smart Pairing scans for connected items and then seamlessly loads them into the app together. It's pretty good so far and I haven't had any issues with this process. Manual pairing, on the other hand, allows you to pick from Edelkrone products and then connect them to the app. To be honest, I haven't needed to use manual pairing at all. Smart pairing has worked every time for me. I won't spend too much time on the app, it's pretty self-explanatory. Adjust the slide option left or right to position the slider where you want, and adjust the pan option to set the head direction. Once happy with the position, just press and hold a marker and then repeat this process for another position. You can set up to 6 moves with my combo of the slider and the HeadONE. You can then cycle between these points or tap each as you see fit. Finally, you can take a picture of each point if you like, so you know what each position will look like. The app supports an intervalometer, which allows you to capture time lapses and create stop motion video. You will need to buy the appropriate cable for your camera, so be sure to do that. Edelkrone supports all the major DSLR and mirrorless cameras out there, so another big thumbs up there. The real drawback of needing to use the app is that the app must always be open and have priority on your phone. God forbid you take a phone call using the app, as it will stuff up your settings and you'll need to start from scratch. Every time I've taken a call, the settings get scrambled, which is a considerable nuisance for a professional grade camera motion system. There is a constant stutter and wobble that occurs using these products. I'm going to show you raw footage captured with the slider, head, and flex head on a tripod. Tell me what you see. Now here's that footage again, but this time I've added a solid line in post to demonstrate the wobble and stutter factor. Again, no post effects other than that, and no color grading, etc. It's pretty significant, isn't it? I can tell you that I shot this using my Sony a7S II with a Metabones Mark V adapter and a Canon 16-35 L series lens zoomed at approximately 35mm with manual focus on, and I was about 55 centimeters from the subject. The slider speed was set to 82% and the ease in and out at approximately 20%, and the pan covered about 70 degrees throughout the move. I tried a few different setups and scenes, and each time the wobble and stutter issue persists. Now, this might not occur for you, but I did reach out to Edelkrone. At this point, I reached out to Edelkrone to troubleshoot this significant issue. Ultimately, Edelkrone's only solution was to reduce the speed to between 15 and 30% maximum and not to shoot macro with this setup. And they also told me that I should have bought the Head Plus and bigger slider setup. There's a whole raft of things wrong with that statement from Edelkrone. First, I deliberately purchased this setup for macro as I often shoot detailed products up close for clients. Secondly, Edelkrone advertised this setup and camera moves on their website in videos time and time again. Thirdly, those videos show a lot more speed than what they are telling me to use and what the unit is clearly not capable of. Fourthly, I'm not exactly shooting macro at 35mm and 55cm from the subject. That's more like an MCU at best. Finally, to suggest that I purchase a much more expensive setup despite all those things is just risible. When I pointed out these facts to Edelkrone, they went silent on me. What was the outcome of all this rigmarole, you might ask? I was left with little choice but to seek a refund, as the slider and HeadONE do not do as advertised. The final nail for Edelkrone is that they would only offer me store credit, as I had purchased the slider, HeadONE and Flex Head through a local chain in Australia and not directly from Edelkrone. Store credit value was only about 80% of what I had paid, and what I had paid was cheaper than what the products are normally listed as in my currency on Edelkrone. So yeah, not great. I pointed out that I had purchased the slider, head and flex head brand new and sealed. They arrived during the lockdown and never saw any work or anything other than the inside of my apartment. I sent Edelkrone proof of this with receipts and photographs of my unboxing. They still only offered me 80% refund as store credit. So what do I say about the SliderONE V2, HeadONE and Flex Tilt Head 2? At best, the SliderONE V2 and HeadONE are prosumer. I'm really disappointed, as I think there are good products buried under these issues that Edelkrone has. They could become one of the best camera motion control systems out there. I'm really curious if you've tried these products and if you've come across the same issues I've had. Let's meet in the comments below and talk about it. Perhaps we can troubleshoot this. Anyway, that's just my experience of Edelkrone. Perhaps you've had a better experience. I'd love to know about that as well, why you like the company. I'm not in the nature of just beating up on a company for no reason. This is purely my experience from 3 products that I bought from them, all brand new. Well, that about does it for me today. If you like my content, let me know with a like and be sure to subscribe if you want more honest reviews and videos. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.